I think it's going to be pushing it to hope that this is nice to me 2 months in a row. Hi everyone, my name's Chloe, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here today. Today's video is going to be TBR Mash, which is my TBR game for the month of July. So yes, for anyone who hasn't seen one of these videos before, this is TBR Mash. It is my TBR game which is inspired by the childhood game of MASH, which normally you would use to predict your future life. I use it to dictate my reading life. So basically each of these cards has a prompt on there. I use a random number generator to work my way around the board, eliminating a prompt each time until there is one left in each side, and that is the prompt that I use to pick the book I'm going to read for next month. We also then have got MASH in the middle, which stands for Mansion, which is a big book, Apartment, which is a small book, Shack, which is a book you've been putting off, and then House, which is comfortable, so it is a mood read. The ones in the middle are extras for if certain things happen throughout the game, basically being if we get a +1, which means we have to add an extra pick, or if we get 2 of the same colour, which again means we have to add an extra book. At the minute, these +1s are all using books that my friends picked for a TBR for me earlier on in the year. They didn't actually end up on my TBR because I had like one for each space on the board. So we've got plenty of those to work through, some that I am more scared of than others. So we'll see how it goes. I think that's all you need to know about the game. But yeah, last month was actually pretty kind to me. I didn't get any extras. I managed to fit a lot of stuff that fit in with the readathons that I was doing because I was participating low-key in whatever you want a thon, but mainly in Marvel-a-thon because I am a team captain for Marvel-a-thon, Team Scarlet Witch. At the minute of filming this, we're halfway through and we've been in second place for the first 2 weeks. So I'm really hoping that we can sort of pull it out of the bag for the last 2 weeks, but we will see how it goes. Right now I'm taking a break from reading all my witchy heartbreaking books to pick some hopefully slightly lighter reads for next month. I mean, I managed to fit in some fairly easy reads this month, but I have had to look as well for things that are witchy and heartbreaking, and I just want some contemporaries really. I mean, there's always heartbreaking contemporaries, but I do just want something light and fluffy for the summer month. Also, July is Yalk. There's a couple of books that I want to try and fit in the first week before I go to Yalk so that I've read them before I meet the authors, and I'm pretty sure there'll be some books that I get at Yalk that I'll kick myself weren't on my TBR at the end of it, but I want to leave it as sort of a lighter TBR as possible so that I can sort of accommodate for the fact that I'm going to be in London for like 5 days where I'm probably not going to read very much, and also so that when I get back, if there's something that I'm desperate to read straight away, I can kind of drop my TBR and still be able to do it for the month. So basically light and easy is what we're going for this TBR. Not entirely sure it's going to happen. It all depends on how the board treats me obviously, but we will see. I don't think I'm taking part in any readathons or read-alongs in the month of July. There's definitely not any readathons, but I don't know about read-alongs. I know Lisa's always starting some sort of new read-along. I know she was reading Ruin of Kings in June, but I don't know if the live show's in July. If I can fit it in before the live show, I will. If not, I might just have to play catch up when they get to the second book in the series. But other than that, I don't think there's anything I need to start at the minute. I could be completely wrong and I could like completely kick myself at the end of this, but nothing off the top of my head. So let's just pick a number to work our way around the board, shall we, and start picking some books. That's what we're all here for. So as always, I use a random number generator and I put my parameters between 5 and 15. So this time we've got a number 7. I feel like we've had that number before, but I can't remember how it worked out from the last time. But let's see how it works this time, shall we? You guys don't need to see me count. Let's speed this up. That was fairly quick. We've got our first prompt. Let's see what it is. So we've got royalty. So that obviously means that royalty needs to be involved. Now, I did say light and easy, and I have just been feeling the need to reread a certain book. You can all guess already what I'm going to go and pick up, can't you? I'll be back in 1 second. So, you know, royalty to me would generally scream some sort of fantasy. But like I said, I've been feeling the need to reread a certain book. And I want light and easy reads. And this book I can read in basically a day. So we're going to be reading Red, White and Royal Blue. We're going to be rereading Red, White and Royal Blue for like the 6th time, I think it will be. But it's one of my comfort reads. And I'm just really in the mood to reread it at the minute. So why not? As you can see, Royal definitely does fit in with this. I think it'll be a good book actually to take when I do go to Yalk, because it's okay if I put it down for a while and don't read it, and I'll be able to pick it back up like after like 5 days and not have a problem, and also because it doesn't matter if I'm not concentrating the most on it, so it's okay if I get sort of distracted from it a little bit, which is, yeah, I think this is a good start to this TBR. I feel like this is lulling me into a false sense of security. Let's see how it goes for the rest of it. Right, let us pick our next prompt. Okay, we have got our next prompt. I can feel what it is because basically I haven't made new +1 cards for this board yet, so I've had to kind of stick them together, and as soon as I picked it up I could feel that it was a +1. So we're definitely going to be picking one of the ones from down here. What we do with the +1 ones is to pick the general prompt, because we obviously have to have an actual prompt to then have a +1 on top of it. So to do that, we actually just get the stack of unused prompts, give them a good shuffle, which I will actually do on camera so you can see what I'm doing. I'm not the best at shuffling, but they end up in a different order, that's the main thing. And also, to be honest, to pick one, I am literally just going to dive into the middle and pull this out, which says BookTuber recommendation. Again, I could make it really, really easy for myself. I need to do some checking of things. I'll be back with you in 1 second. Okay, I've decided what I'm going to go for this. I was thinking, like, I kind of want to get something on there that a friend has recommended, but preferably not one of the ones that's likely to come up on there, because I know that Meg will be watching this video and she'll be telling me, well, you could just read You Deserve Each Other because I've recommended that one to you, but that could potentially come up on here, so I don't want to double up. But like I said, I do want to read something that my friends are loving. I did consider reading the Ali Hazelwood short stories for this, but I am tempted to wait until all 4 of those are out and just read them all in one go. And then Love on the Brain obviously doesn't come out until August, which would also work for this because Becca has recommended it many times already and it's not even out yet. But there is a book that has been recommended mainly by Lisa, but then also Jem has read it recently amongst other people, but Lisa is the main recommendation for this. And I did buy it because it's going to be traditionally published soon and I wanted to get a self-pubbed copy before they became very hard to get. So I'm going to be reading Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. So this one is like a cozy fantasy as far as I know. I know I didn't give you a synopsis of Red, White and Royal Blue. I don't think anyone really needs a synopsis of Red, White and Royal Blue, but I can give you one if you need it. It's about the son of the President of the United States falling in love with one of the princes of the United Kingdom. And that's kind of the main premise. There is other stuff to it. This one, like I said, is a cozy fantasy. Says 1 out after decades of packing steel and raising hell, Viv the Orc Barbarian cashes out of the warrior's life with one final score. A forgotten legend, a fabled artifact, and an unreasonable amount of hope led her to the streets of Foon, I think it is, where she plans to open the first coffee shop the city has ever seen. However, her dreams of a fresh start, pulling shots instead of swinging swords, are hardly a sure bet. Old enemies and Foon's shady underbelly may just upset her plans. To finally build something that will last, Viv will need some new partners and a different kind of resolve. A hot cup of fantasy, slice of life with a dollop of romantic froth. It's been described as just a very cosy, cute fantasy. And yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it. Mainly from Lisa and now from Jem. And I don't think Lisa's going to show up until I read it, so I might as well try and get it on this TBR because I will be reading it in July either way. So yeah, BookTuber recommendation. There we go. Right, I'm going to pick the +1 at the end. We're going to carry on with the rest of the board and see if I need any other +1s, because we have got different colours so far, but the problem is now is that because we've got an extra one, we've got an extra colour as well. So there's a chance when I said this one hopefully it'd be as nice to me as last month. I don't think that's going to happen. Right, let's pick the 3rd prompt technically, but it's going to be more. Let's go. That was a really quick one to pick. Let's see what we have. Oh, it's a different colour. So this one is blurb, which basically means it has to be blurbed by a favourite author. So this involves me going and having a dig around my shelves and seeing if anything is blurbed by an author that I really like. I have no idea where to start with this, so I will be back with you eventually. For you guys, it's going to be like half a second. For me, it might take a few minutes. Bye. Okay. Sticking with trying to keep it quite light because this is already getting out of hand, but also potentially not sticking with keeping it quite light because this is going to really mean that I read 2 books. Basically, one of the authors that I want to meet at Yalc that I haven't actually read anything from yet, but I think I'm going to love, is Kira Smith. Now, Kira Smith has written 2 books that I own both of. So we have got Falling in Love Montage and Not My Problem. Now, I prefer to read things in publication order, which would mean that I would read this one first. Unfortunately, the people that have blurbed this one are people I've never read from. But on the back of this one, we have got a blurb from Becky Albertalli. So I'm probably going to try and read both of them anyway. It's just that these will be like first week of July reads because, I mean, well, realistically, if I try and get one, if I read, even if I end up reading this one first before Yalc and then try and read this one towards the end of the month, I could still then take them both to get signed. The only problem is obviously if I don't like this one and then I've still got this one, but I'll probably read them both anyway because you never know. Writing can change, but to be honest, I think I'm gonna love them both, so it's not really going to be an issue. I'm just creating problems to myself that don't actually exist. So yeah, I will be reading Not My Problem, but that will also mean that I'll probably end up reading the Falling in Love Montage as well. But this is the one that's officially on my TBR. Right, we've got one more regular prompt to pick, and then 2 more, maybe 3 more. We'll see. We'll find out now, shall we? Okay. Let's see what has come up and what colour it is. It's probably the important part. We are picking an extra book. Of course we are. I mean, I'm going to try. We're going to try and fit this in. So this is odd number, which is yellow. And my extra prompt was a yellow. So we're going to have to pick an extra. See, normally. Actually, no, it's not even that. See, so my extras have to come from here, which means I'm going to be picking 2 of the books that my friends have picked for me, which is just increasing the odds that I'm going to end up reading House of Earth and Blood. We all know it's coming up eventually, but what I can do, what I'm hoping to do, I'm going to see how many pages this one is because I've already kind of put it on my TBR. And it is 383 pages long, which is an odd number. So there we go. I've already said I'm going to be reading this. I haven't given you a synopsis for either of them. They're both sapphic, I believe. This one is about a girl who is trying to get over her ex and basically just wants a summer where she has a break. And then it says enter the scene, Ruby, rom-com fan and optimist. Ruby is the prettiest girl Saoirse's ever seen, but Saoirse doesn't want to get into another relationship. So Ruby challenges her to try a summer romance with the serious parts left out, just like in the movies. But what happens when the falling in love montage ends? So it's basically like they set out to have a rom-com. So it's supposed to be like, what happens at the end of this summer romance? Where do we go from here? I'm really excited about this one. This one sounds a little bit different. This one is about a girl who offers to help solve another classmate's problem by pushing her down the stairs, which sounds very strange, but then she realizes basically that she has a talent for fixing other students' problems. And yeah, kind of, it says whether it's stealing a confiscated phone or arranging a late night breakout, Aideen will sort it out. But Aideen's own life is a mess. Her man's drinking again, her best friend is avoiding her, and she's flunking school. As she spends more time with Cavi and the uptight but annoying Maeve, Aideen starts to wonder, can every problem be solved? It sounds like the premise sounds strange for this one, but I'm excited for it. So yeah, both of those are now officially up my TBR. But this is the moment I'm terrified of. We're gonna pick the 2 books from here. So these are, like I said, all picked from a TBR that my friends made for me earlier on in the year. I basically gave them free rein. I said, pick a book that you honestly think I will love, and then a book that can be absolutely anything you want it to be, regardless of if you think I'm gonna like it or not. And there is a mixture on here, and I mentioned many times, it's become a running joke at this point, that I'm terrified because one of these picks is House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J Maas, which is Liv's pick. I have no interest in reading Sarah J Maas, but I did. It's my own fault. I told Liv she could pick it, and she did. There are some other ones that I'm really excited to read. There are some other ones that I honestly have no clue on. But we're going to be adding 2 of them onto the TBR this month, so we said it was going to be easy. It doesn't seem to be heading that way, does it? But I'm clearly trying to avoid picking these now, so let's just pick them, shall we? Right, so the way we do it for this one is that we just do whatever number 7 lands on. So, okay, so it is a Liv pick, but it is not the Liv pick that I'm terrified of. But I'm sure that Liv will be very happy to hear that this month I will be reading Crave by Tracy Wolfe. Let me go and grab it off of my shelf, shall we? So what I should mention actually is that Liv has been very helpful with both of these books that she's put on my TBR. She has provided for me to read. One of them she was unhauling an extra copy, so she sent it my way. This one she just bought because she wants everyone to read it, and it's Crave by Tracy Wolfe. This is a chunkier book than I expected to be. I do not really want to read a full synopsis. I know it's about vampires. I know it's not like Twilight. It apparently actively makes fun of Twilight. And yeah, all I know, to be honest, all my friends that have read this one really love it. I am intrigued by it. I don't read a lot of vampire stories, although that being said, I just read the short story collection Vampires Never Get Old last month and really enjoyed it. Empire of the Vampire was one of my favourite books last year. I know that's a different type of vampire story, but it is. And to be honest, my favourite TV programme ever is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so I don't know why I don't read a lot of vampire stories, but I think Twilight may have ruined them for me. So hopefully this is the sort of redeeming vampire story that I want it to be. But yeah, I will be reading it. I think the gift note from Liv on here literally says, "Enjoy, I will buy this for everyone." So thank you, Liv, for picking this for my TBR, and thank you for providing a copy for me to read. I will update you with my thoughts. Right, last one of the extras and then we'll pick M.A.S.H. Let's see what we have. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And that is the reaction of someone who has to read House of Earth and Blood this month. I wanted it to be an easy month. Right. I'm gonna go and grab this book. Why is it so big though? Like seriously, why is it so big? Like, I've been avoiding reading Sarah J Maas and then I had to pick up the one that is a brick. Okay, so I'm not going to read the synopsis of this because I have already been spoiled for some things that happens, because I did not think I would ever be reading this, so I didn't avoid spoilers like everyone else did. But I haven't read any spoilers in a while, since I knew I was actually going to have to read it at some point. I have been avoiding things, apart from the fact that I do know what happens at the end of the second one, but it's fine. It's fine. We don't even know if I'll end up reading the second one yet, do we? Well, we need to see how this one goes first. So I'm not going to read you a synopsis. I'm not going to try and give you a synopsis, because I know that the synopsis in this gives away a fairly major event that kind of sets everything up, but it happens within the book, so you shouldn't really know about it yet, as far as I know. Anyway, I've read exactly one Sarah J Maas book before. It was the Catwoman one she did for the DC is done by YA authors thing that was happening, where like Leigh Bardugo did Wonder Woman and Sarah J Maas did Catwoman. I didn't love it. It wasn't, and I've heard that is one of, I've heard that does not read like any of her other books, but it was actually things to do with the writing style and like grammatical choices that really irritated me. So I do also have the audiobook for this, which may be a good thing, because of grammatical choices, if they are still in this, may not be there, because I won't notice when it's on an audiobook. But God, that writing's small. I read big books. This is the thing, like I read a Robin Hood book every month, and for some reason this 800-page book is more terrifying than Robin Hood. But seriously though, like, trying to have a light TBR and look how many pages Liv has added to it, I think I might have to rethink this friendship. Right, if this comes up with Mansion now, I am going to scream. I mean, I'm not, I'm just going to put a Robin Hood book on there, but I'm going to scream. Right, let us pick my last pick. This TBR has got very much away from me. Right, let's just go. Thank you for being kind to me. We've got Apartment. Apartment is a small book, which should be under 200 pages if possible, under 300 pages if not. Now, I don't really want to put a novella on here because I'll have just read A Wayward Children book. That's one of the last ones I have to read this month, and I like to break those up a little bit. Could put a graphic novel on, but I've read a lot of those this month as well. Leave it with me, I'll figure it out. It might just be that I put an under 300 page book and I go find some sort of romance, but leave it with me. Okay, we're really going to stretch this prompt this time because, like I said, normally under 300 pages, but this TBR has not been particularly nice to me this month, and I want to read this book anyway because it is the second book in a companion series that I started reading last month, and I really want to read this one. It fits in with the light mood. It's 312 pages, but I mean, it's an adult romance. It's going to feel shorter than that anyway. So I'm going to be reading The Intimacy Experiment by Rosie Danan. This one follows on from The Roommate. Basically, it's about one of the co-workers of some of the people in The Roommate, and her job all revolves around relationships. And basically, this one starts doing these sort of like presentations on modern intimacy, and I think it's a guy that she ends up presenting them with, and it's their sort of relationship evolving throughout it. I don't know too much else other than that. I didn't know too much going into The Roommate, and I was very pleasantly surprised on how much I enjoyed that book. So I'm hoping the same is said for this, especially because the character that is followed in this book, she's called Naomi. I really liked her in the last book. I just tried to say that twice and then had to stop because an ice cream van decided to come up the road. It's not even that warm today. But anyway, off topic. I'm going to be reading this one. So, I mean, right, it could definitely be worse, but we all know there's like that one book in the middle that's stressing me out, especially because I will also be trying to read a Robin Hood book this month as well, but I do listen to that on audiobook. But this is my TBR. So we've got a mixture of, we've got contemporary, like new adult romance, cozy fantasy, some YA contemporaries, vampire books, book that terrifies me and I don't know why, and then an adult romance. So we've got a range, definitely. We will see how it goes. Wish me luck. Right, that is everything. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down below. Let me know what is on your TBRs for the month of July, and I will see you guys next time with a new video. Bye.